Derek, what brings you out here to Colorado Springs from LA?
Well, for me, there was a commercial once that said, "Today is the first day of the rest of your life," and I had a life-changing event for myself in that I was diagnosed with cancer in December, and so this last 3 months has been sort of an awakening for me. And in that awakening process, you forget about the things you have to do and think about the things that you want to do. And I tell people the job is what I do, but being creative and writing is what I am. And when I thought about all those things and talked to one of my closest friends in life, Thomas Dawson, who helped me with my first CD, because I write lyrics and poetry. I'm not a musician. I wish I was. I'm just amazed by musicians. It was an opportunity to come out here to see him. He talks so much about Colorado Springs, about the people, about this relationship that he has here with the conservatory. And so there it was. It was an opportunity before I re-enter my job as Executive Director of Long Beach Community Action Partnership in Long Beach, California, to actually get recentered. To get recentered spiritually, mentally, physically, and take my life to the next level. And in doing so, ideally be a blessing to those people around me. And Thomas is such a kindred spirit for me. It's like these last 3 days here, starting out here at the conservatory right off the freeway, have just been incredible. It was everything I could have hoped for and more. So that's what brought me here, and I don't regret one moment. I'm looking forward to the next opportunity to come back.
That's great. So tell us about your work, your creative work with the youth of Long Beach.
Well, youth has always been a passion for mine. From my days in banking, I have a son and daughter, and so I always coached, football. And it's rewarding now to see kids that I coached in 6th grade come up to me and say, "Coach Simpson," and they've got their little 6-year-olds or kids with them. But in Long Beach, at the Long Beach Community Action Partnership, I was fortunate enough to get a discretionary grant that helped us create the Leadership Academy Mentoring Program. I felt that there were many programs for kids in preschool, like Head Start, and there were after-school programs for kids in middle school and elementary, but there weren't, outside of the extracurricular activities that a high school provides, many opportunities for teens to be engaged in a meaningful way, such as what you do here at the conservatory. And so LAMP is the acronym, and what I did was take all of my past background, my life in television, my life and love for music, my appreciation for the arts, and I used digital media arts as the hook to get teens to want to come and be involved in something special, after school. And so we used television production, we used music production, we used digital media arts, and in terms of graphic arts design and silk screening, and we used photography. So with the grant, I was able to go out and purchase the hardware. Thomas basically guided me in, what mixing board to buy and what are the basics. And we just started out with a simple board and a few microphones and for music. And I bought a few digital SLR cameras for photography, and I purchased a silk screening machine for the kids, and I turned our computer lab, which was old and out of date, into upgraded it to an iMac lab. So we had 16 new iMacs for the kids to learn on. And so then I was like, I got the equipment, so you buy the capital investment, but the key to bring it to life are the people who are the experts. And being one that is a teacher of StrengthsFinder, I believed in reaching out to the people who were the best. I put my ego aside and say, what's best for these youth in our community? Because the youth we serve are all low income. They're within poverty. And Thomas was the first person. Every time, I'd say something, he's like, okay, this is what I can do. And so he was my content expert for music. So here you have kids in Long Beach who have this passion. Everybody wants to be in front of the camera or behind the microphone, coming in and learning the basics of music production from Thomas Dawson, And then we had another gentleman in video production who had produced, or directed rather, 25 of the top hip hop videos of all time in Lionel Martin. And he was teaching them about, camera composition and video production. And then we had another artist teaching them graphics, and we had a professional photographer. And so we created this synergy where these kids were not only learning a new craft in what is called the entertainment capital of the world, and that was another key point for me, was to teach them skills that would enable them to break the cycle of poverty, to not be like their parents, possibly, and not even if they didn't go to college, which we want them to, but we realize that not everyone goes on to college. At least they had a skill set that would enable them to maybe make money doing a video such as this, or doing other things. And LAMP then just kept growing. I mean, it was amazing how people had come to a place in their life as professionals where they were looking for a meaningful place and way to give back, where they could kind of just plug in, do what they do best, and go back home. And so we provided that environment with the LAMP program. And it just kept growing, and we started out with a few kids, and we kind of followed the school semester system. So we would have them sort of begin and start a project by the end of the semester. And when President Obama got in office, one of my managers came to me and said, we work with the Workforce Investment Board, and they have the summer jobs program, but this year they've got the ARA funds and we have more money. Why don't we pay the kids to do a summer job in their respective departments? And so now they come to work and they get paid to do music production, or they get paid to do video. And that first summer was so amazing because Thomas helped them produce a CD that, I kid you not, if you heard it, you would think, wow, that should be on the radio. We had such amazing talent in terms of vocalists and musicians, and Thomas was teaching them engineering, and Lionel was teaching them about video production, and they were learning Final Cut Pro, and they were learning Pro Tools, and they were learning Logic. And it was like, these are jobs that are paying, great money in this community. And ARA went away, and so you had to find a way, and that's the up and down of a nonprofit. You're excited about getting that grant, and the kids in the community get excited, but when the grant goes away, that excitement doesn't go away, and so you have to try to find a way to not make the mountains too high or the valleys too low, and somewhere come in there where you can keep that continuity in that program going. And so as a result of my blessing to be a voting member of the Recording Academy through contacts with Thomas again, because of the lyrics that I write in my spoken word CD on iTunes, we had a relationship with the Grammy Foundation, who's right there in LA. And they started inviting the kids to what's called Grammy sound checks for people like Sheryl Crow and other people that would come to town. And that relationship then introduced us to the Grammy Museum, and Kate Stubner and the guys over there. And our kids went there one summer for a week, and they were introduced to the Grammy staff. And the first thing the staff was impressed with were how well-mannered they were. And so now the holistic approach to LAMP, not only teaching them about digital media, but about teaching them life skills, about how to shake hands, about how to have proper eye contact, about how to wear their clothes, about problem solving and decision making, about leadership, about all those things that as a professional, even if you have your degree, you still have to have that polish. And so we taught them that, and the staff was so enamored by the fact that they were good citizens, right? Good representation of our agency, that when they got on stage and started singing and performing, they were like, oh my gosh, the voices, the talent, the energy. And they had their sort of culmination program and just blew everybody away. Fast forward then, when the James Brown exhibit opened at the Grammy Museum, they called us and asked if our teens would be the entertainment for the James Brown family. And again, through Thomas Dawson and his connections, they rehearsed, they prepared, and they performed, and James Brown's entire family came on stage. By the end of that performance, the stage was so full, people couldn't get up on it, dancing and playing, just into it. And so as, I guess, a father figure, that was so heartwarming to see that. And since then, they've also been invited to the Grammy Museum to perform for the Ray Charles stamp unveiling for the United States Postal Service. And I guess one of the biggest things was the Grammy Museum invited us to the White House. 11 of our young men who had never been on an airplane before, some of which had hardly been out of their community, went to the White House. And since we were teaching them about advocacy so that we can advocate to keep the funds coming, the next day we walked the halls of Congress and introduced them to different congressional offices, and took a detour to New York, and they didn't know it. And we got off in New York, and my assistant had connections in the radio industry, and we took them on a quick, like 6-hour layover tour of Times Square, and then brought them back. And so they were walking on clouds. And as a result of that, now Skylar O'Neill, who works for the Grammy Museum, was one of our students, and we're just so proud of him.
So, given where things are at now, and the conversation that we had the other day, one, what is your impression of this place? And two, how do you see the connectivity playing out so that we can bring these youth together to collaborate?
Sure. Well, Thomas has talked so much about the conservatory here, and he likened it a lot to what we were doing in Long Beach, because though it was my idea to create LAMP and I wrote the grants, etc., I always say it's bigger than me. You know, everything is bigger than me. I'm just, a vessel for that time and that place. When I walked into this establishment here, your facility, I was blown away, because this is sort of an evolution to where I would love to see the LAMP facility. We have the hardware, but we don't necessarily have the facility, But to have the individual rooms with specialization, to have this area here for recitals, I just think it's an amazing place, an amazing program. And it seems that you, Linda, and the staff here have such passion, which is what I think makes great visions happen, is incredible. So I would love to figure out ways for us to work together. And I think that in terms of that synergy, though distance is between us, technology helps to, cover that time and space. And so I think by, in some ways, introducing, first of all, our two cultures, which is what you and I can do as executive directors. I'm coming here, maybe you can come and visit us sometime, or even have one of your board members come, because our agency is bigger than just a teen program. It's, we do other things as a community action agency, to help families move from poverty to self-sufficiency. So we really focus on helping the holistic family and the holistic person. I think that beyond that exchange of ideas and sharing of visions is then to find those natural points of connectivity and the green grass people, that really share the vision. And the vision that I see is to bring the best of LAMP to Colorado Springs in terms of the program, the methodologies, etc., and the best of the conservatory to Long Beach. We are a city of about 500,000 people, and I understand Colorado Springs is a city of about 500,000 people. You have your resources here. We have the proximity to the Grammy Museum and other artists and musicians in the California area. And so the beauty of this is that there are so many opportunities that I couldn't just articulate all of them to you right now. We also have the capability. We have a full brand new high definition TV studio, because we operate the public access digital network for the city of Long Beach, public access TV. So for instance, if your kids were to come over there, our kids are creating their own youth TV show right now. So they could perform and get their music videos done in green screen, things that you could do here, but at the same time to do it there with other youth being the producers and the directors and have that youth feel would just be an amazing collaboration. So I would love to tell you all the things that I think we could do, but it would just, it blows my mind. I'm still processing, all of that myself, but I had the opportunity while I've been here to be in the studio. Thomas helped me work on my second CD project, and he invited Paula over to the studio. And I was
Good
like,
kid, right?
wow,
Yeah.
wow. And I think it's Ryan Tedder, his father happened to be there, and he was talking about Mr. Tedder, and Paula's eyes got bigger and bigger. It's like, wow, he wrote that song and he works with this person and on and on. And before he left, he talked to Paula and told her what a special gift she had and what a special young lady she was or she is. And that just reminded me about how special what you have here is in terms of the talent and in terms of your community to support that talent. And it reminds me of how Thomas and I wrapped our arms around many of our youth in Long Beach, and just makes me excited to get back to work and to begin to do more creative and innovative things. Lastly, to your point of the Grammy Museum, what we did was I wrote an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, to the Grammy Museum, because what we pitched to them was to say, look, you have this incredible one-week summer program. We have, by your own admission and our community's understanding, a great teen program. Let's combine the best of the two programs. And so now we're looking forward to launching a program in partnership with the Grammy Museum where Skylar, which is cool because he was once one of ours, now he's one of theirs, is going to recruit the best talent. It won't just be the talent that comes into the LAMP program, but of those who are really ready to step their game up to the next level, much like your students here. And from them, they will not only get the advantages of the Grammy Museum program, but they'll get the advantages of the LAMP program. And that's a model, working with the Grammy Museum, that we hope to really polish in Long Beach and then take that nationally. And I think that Colorado Springs, a place like this, would be an excellent next step. And that's what I'll be telling Kate, when I see her, when I get back. It's like, let's make this happen by the end of summer here. And then, I know the excellent next place, to take this that has an appreciation for the arts and specifically music, and that you and the Grammy Museum would be proud to be associated with.
It's exciting. One more question for you. I'm glad you had an interface with Paula because, she's just a really good kid. And there's lots of them here. And to know that, for us, the alumni play a huge role. And we have this cluster out in LA that are in the music industry. And how would you feel about beginning that conversation by introducing and allowing some of these kids that grew up here to possibly become mentors for you or help facilitate? They're all in the profession and at every different kind of level.
Right.
So how would you feel about that? A little bit of Colorado Springs already out in LA.
I would love that. I as a leader and my staff get scared when I say I got an idea because they think, oh my God, I was like, what are we going to do now?
Run.
Yeah, I know, right? I think it's an incredible idea. I think it's something that I would embrace wholeheartedly because they're already there. They understand, what you do here, and I know if they came from here, they must be amazing.
Really
and
good
so
kids.
Yes, it would be my honor and pleasure to work closely with them to introduce them to what we're doing. We don't, as I said, nearly have the space that you have specifically for just music. Our studio is really small, and then we have a sort of a rehearsal area, but we make up for it on the video side in terms of our full studio with lighting and that whole nine. And we have engineering capabilities such as what Thomas helped us design. So I think getting in touch with your alumni there, I would set up a meeting maybe where when we identify who's there and who's interested, I could bring them to our facility, give them a tour, tell them what the options are, introduce them to our management team, and beyond that, to the extent that I could personally be of assistance through what I am and who I know there, assist them, reciprocally in terms of what they're trying to accomplish, if in fact that's something that they would like to do. So I would be elated to meet them and to work with them.
Okay, so I have a little girl named, they're 30-something, Genevieve and Maddie and Marcy, and it's a kick-butt jazz guitarist, Ricky, and then another kid who's right now at USC, one of Wayne's students, studying jazz guitar, David. But mentoring is such a big part of this culture. They're not allowed to look at a little kid and go, beat it.
Yeah.
So it would mean a lot to them to be able to give. I think it would be an extraordinary opportunity for them to know that they can give back somehow through what you're doing. So you would love them. You would love them. They're all great working musicians and really good kids.
Yeah, I think for me, as I said earlier, is providing an opportunity where people from the outside can come in and feel comfortable in their craft and doing what they do. And not every youth is at the top of their game. We at Long Beach Community Action Partnership try to be mindful. Well, he's always coming late, or she's always, falling asleep, so they must not care. And then you dig a little deeper and find, well, maybe they came late because they had to catch 2 or 3 buses to get here. Or maybe she's falling asleep because, her family's borderline homeless, or, she's got other drama, and so you don't try to give them excuses for not being at their best, but you try to be understanding, because as teens, as much as grown up as they think they are, they still are teens, and they've got so much to learn about life. And so I say that to say that as we bring people in, such as your alumni, we try to educate them to the population that they're serving, but at the same time, not pass judgment. We allow them to build their own relationships and understand things for themselves. And in many cases, people leave as professionals more enlightened and more appreciative of what they have or what they don't have. But the one thing that many of these teens have when they come in is a hunger for something better in life. And if, as the executive director, I can provide a safe space that treats them with dignity and respect and helps to cultivate that God-given talent within them, and do it with people such as your alumni that are at the top of their game, I figure that's one of the greatest blessings I could be.
Well, thank you. Isn't he great? He's great.